a hero inside
Good day.
yourself.
Great day. Happy, healthy Bronx Week, everyone. So great to see all of you here. A round of applause. Welcome to the Bronxnet Media and Technology Studios at La Centrale in the South Bronx. Thank you all for being a part of this very big celebration to inaugurate our new production studios. We're expanding. And to acknowledge key partners and key supporters. On what was once a vacant lot for decades with rubble, we've built the Bronxnet Media and Technology Studios, an unprecedented community media nexus, not only because of the advanced production capabilities, but because of Bronxnet's educationally driven mission. The Bronx keeps creating it, and now we have even more opportunities to build together. The Bronxnet Media and Technology Studios are located conveniently in the hub with access to public transportation, including 2 subway lines and a cavalcade of buses. Our newest Bronxnet location has 2 studios, including the one we're in, the windows on the Bronx studio with beautiful vistas, panoramic vistas of the South Bronx. The and you can build worlds here. We've built an immersive media studio for high-end filmmaking, CGI, game development with a cyclorama for virtual sets. Coming soon to the immersive media studio at Bronxnet here, thanks to our Bronx Borough President, Vanessa L. Gibson, will be an extended reality production stage. We have an innovation lab that we've equipped here for immersive media development and developers to test out these experiences for gaming, engage our youth around AR, VR, art, and more. 2 learning labs offer the training and mentorship that Bronxnet provides, opportunities to build new skills, to tell their stories. Our youth can prepare to be formidable contenders for a competitive industry, for careers in journalism, technology, TV, and film. Bronxnet is broadcasting robust local programming across 6 channels by, for, and about the Bronx, from the Bronx to the universe. Where there are great tech inequities, we're providing experiential learning and workforce training for youth and the public, while promoting digital inclusion at Bronxnet. That's community development. That's economic impact. There's affordable housing here at La Centrale, and Bronxnet is one of the community anchor institutions. Thank you, Hudson. Let's give a round of applause for Hudson. Through the generous support of our Bronx Borough President, Vanessa L. Gibson, New York City Council Member Eric Dinowitz, the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs, and the Yankee Fund, the Yankee Fund supports our NYSHA Youth Summer initiatives. We are able to inaugurate our new spaces here together today. And we'll fully open to the public in September, but there'll be pilot programs for youth, students during the summer. So, if you have any ideas about how you'd like to partner, take a look at the space today when you have your tours. Speak to our team. We have a great team here. And I'd like to thank and recognize our amazing Bronxnet Board of Directors who are here. Madaha Kinsey Lamb. John Kalazzi. Nick Lugo. Myrna Rivera, Ken McGuire, our treasurer, Edwin Mejia, and with decades of public service helping to build Bronxnet to be what it is today, our next speaker, our former Bronx District Attorney, Bronxnet Chairperson, Paul T. Gentile. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. This is an extraordinary day for all of us, for the Bronx and Bronxnet. And it's a point of particular pride for me that I've had the opportunity to serve as chairman and to lead this organization for the last 30 years. And it started a long time ago as a dream, an idea, and then Bronxnet grew into one location, another location, and then the gem of them all, this particular location. And during that period of time, I recognized that so many people had so much to do with this a day, this event. We should start off with the people that work at Bronxnet, the employees, those creative people, and our independent producers. They are the lifeblood of our particular organization. They are the source of our exceptionalism, and they are the source of our confidence and pride for the future. In addition to that, I've been assisted, and this came about, by the extraordinary work of our board of directors. They are people that not only do not receive any compensation or any public praise, but they work quietly and diligently, using their best ideas so that we could get where we are today. And I want to thank each and every one of them that helped us get there today. Throughout the years, we have been greatly assisted by the borough presidents that have been in office at the time. It started with Fernando Ferrer, and he started it, and he set the tone by selecting board members that were the finest people in our community and varied in so many different ways. That tradition has been carried on by every borough president, each and every one of them helping Bronxnet in any way that they could. And that is why I feel so confident when I get to have the privilege to introduce to you our present borough president. With her energy and her intelligence and hardworking, she's probably the hardest working elected official anywhere. And I can't think of anybody who works harder than her. So our future is bright, and we are extremely fortunate to have Vanessa Gibson as our borough president, and it's my pleasure to introduce her.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, and good afternoon, everyone. What an honor and what a privilege to be here at the newest media and technology studio here at La Central. I am especially honored to join with the Bronxnet family on this important and historic celebration. For years, many residents here in the South Bronx walked past this location and saw an isolated vacant lot. And known and behold, there was a vision that was put forth by Bronxnet to not only expand on its current footprint at Lehman College and all of the centers in which they operate, but this was truly a labor of love. And so years later, we are here to celebrate this 14,000 square foot space that is now the home of Bronxnet and the latest venture on Bronxnet's community-driven work. For that, we are grateful. I want to acknowledge our incredible executive director. Michael Maxnabi worked so hard on behalf of Bronxnet. Talk about Bronx Strong. Talk about always representing the great borough of the Bronx. Talk about representing the future of our borough. Michael Maxnabi has done that as our executive director. And I want to thank the board members of Bronxnet, led by our distinguished chairman, Mr. Paul T. Gentile. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and to all the board members. I've had an opportunity as borough president to work closely with our board. I met with them a few weeks ago and gave out our agenda, our strategic plan, our blueprint for this great borough. We talk about the Bronx. We talk about it being a borough of opportunities, a global destination. We want to make sure that we create access and opportunity for future generations and the pathway to the middle class, creating local jobs, stimulating our economy, giving young people opportunities like internships that will not lead to jobs, but will lead to careers. And for years, that is what Bronxnet has done. For the 6 public access channels that many of us watch, I know I do, on Bronxnet, I am proud to say I've been on many shows that are produced by Bronxnet well over 24 times. Gary Axelbank will usually count for me how many, right, Gary? I've been in 23. I've been on Bronx Talk. I've been on Perspectives. I've had a number of different discussions and panels and summits, and it's really about what the Bronx is all about. It's about highlighting our cultural diversity, highlighting our historic landmarks and districts, our open spaces from the Harlem River to the Bronx River to the Hutchinson River. It's about talking about the good things that are happening in the Bronx, because for so long, the Bronx has been shortchanged, ignored, denied opportunities. No one has opened doors for us all the time. We've often been last in everything good and first in everything bad. But I got news for everyone. We are changing the dynamic. We are shifting the conversation, and we are embarking on public and private partnerships that will invest in our borough. When you think about this new media and technology center, when you think about video animation, media production, journalism, producing, filming, think about all the careers that will come out of this space. And we also want to make sure that we open our doors here at La Central to the entire community, to our school community, faith leaders, clergy, health organizations, all of the stakeholders that live, work in this community that have invested in our borough, as Bronxnet has done. So I could not be more proud to join all of my colleagues in government who are here in really celebrating this moment. We know that this journey was not easy. It truly was a labor of love. But when you recognize the assignment that you have, when you recognize the purpose that we have all been given, this is about creating footprints for the next generation to follow. I see the vision, Bronxnet. I see the work that you have already done, and this is just another step in your commitment to advancing the principles by which Bronxnet stands for. So my gratitude as your borough president, and I'm so grateful that we have a long line of elected officials that have invested in Bronxnet. We have invested in your vision, in your blueprint, in your values, because we understand that when you invest in these programs, we are investing in our children and our young adults, and when we invest in our youth, we are investing in our future. That is what this work is all about. And for years, Bronxnet has been the go-to for all of the latest up-to-date information, educating our Bronxites, making them understand about the new programs and initiatives that are being offered in our borough, because if you know better, you do better. And we want to make sure that we invest in education and technology as the gateway to the future. We can never sell ourselves short on the potential opportunities and all the possibilities that Bronxnet will offer here with this new media and technology center. For that, we are grateful. And so it is my honor and my privilege to recognize my colleagues in government who will be speaking later on in the program, but I want to make sure that everyone understands this is a partnership. We do this together because we know that we are stronger together. We have more in common than what will ever divide us. And when you talk about media, technology, gaming, addressing tech, the digital divide, tech equity, making sure that this is about equity, fairness, and justice, because it's an injustice when families are not digitally connected. It's an injustice when our children don't have access to internet in their schools and at home. And now they will have that here, a safe space, a haven, a beacon of hope and opportunity for the next generation of leaders. So to all of my colleagues, I want to recognize State Senator Jose Marco Serrano is here with us. State Senator Robert Jackson is here with us. Assemblymember Amanda Septimo. Assemblymember Chantel Jackson. Assemblymember George Alvarez. Councilmember Eric Dinowitz. And I want to recognize my executive director, our executive director of the Bronx Tourism Council, Sue Brown. And thank you to our community partners, our district manager of Community Board 1, Anthony Jordan. Thank you to our community board members. So not to outdo any of our colleagues, but Councilmember Eric Dinowitz, if you can please join me. We do have a check presentation that we wanted to provide to Bronxnet because, again, we do this with a labor of love. We do this because we recognize that no project, no vision can be successful without money. And as elected officials, if we have the ability to help support with more than words, then we want to do that with dollars. And so I want to have my colleague, we have to sign it. It hasn't been signed yet, so it's not affirmed. Hasn't been signed yet. Hasn't been signed yet. It's not affirmed. It's not. Can anyone tell me what today's date is?
Today's the 11th.
Okay, May 2023. Here we are.
Your handwriting's much nicer than mine. It's not good.
Okay. Practice makes perfect.
You sign a lot of these checks, don't you?
I do. Okay.
What am I signing next
For
to?
media equipment. Nice.
There.
I'd like to invite our Bronxnet treasurer, Edwin Mejia, to join us.
We hereby present a check for $574,000 to Bronxnet for its Media and Technology Center. Mr. Chairman, move up a little bit. Thank you so much, and congratulations, Bronxnet. We look forward to the great work that we will continue to do together. Thank you, everyone. Congratulations.
Thank you, Bronx Borough President Gibson, for your leadership and great work for the people of the Bronx and our city. We have a lot to be thankful for, and we're grateful for the support of our elected leaders who have supported Bronx in a variety of ways, including our next speaker from City Council District 11, a former educator and community activist. Please welcome City Council member Eric Dinowitz.
My goodness, what a terrible time for me to speak. You got Vanessa Gibson, and then over $500,000, and then me. And especially, all those wonderful shows, 23 times on Bronx Talk. Gary, how many times have I been on? Well, all the Bronx Talk perspectives. I was on Today's Verdict last week, but I think they did that just because they knew I was coming today, so they got one. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to be here at my second Bronxnet appearance ever. We did some there was virtual stuff during the pandemic, and we have a lot of constituents. I have a lot of constituents who come up to me and say, oh, I saw this news piece on Bronxnet, I saw this wonderful program. And yes, during the height of the pandemic, when everything was virtual, Gary Axelbank hosted city council debates, and people watched the debates. And for a lot of constituents, that's what they see. They see sort of that end product. But we know that the work Bronxnet does is so much deeper and special than that. You are not just a news-producing, program-producing organization. Last year, the city council was going through the redistricting process. And there were neighborhoods around the city that were submitting testimony. And this commission, which listened to public testimony, they listened to people from Brooklyn and Queens, but we noticed that people from the Bronx were not engaged. They weren't submitting testimony. So we said, Bronxnet leaped at the opportunity to be a partner in this, and they partnered with us to do public programming and public education about redistricting. And after that session, we had dozens and dozens and dozens of Bronx residents testifying and submitting testimony about redistricting. Bronxnet is helping Bronx residents make their voice heard. And it cannot be understated how vital that is. Because as our borough president mentioned, for too long the Bronx has been left behind. And you are doing this critical work in moving the Bronx forward. But of course, as Michael Max said, 2 first names, lucky you. I'm a former educator. And anything any parent or teacher knows is that children are so much more, our youth are so much more than what happens within the 4 walls of the classroom. And how you provide opportunities for our youth to be more than a test score, more than their GPA, it's just incredible for our students, because they go on to have real fulfilling lives. Maybe they have careers in media, or maybe they just have experience working with others and being part of something that makes the Bronx greater. And that there is no number you can put on that. There is no test score that you can put on that. No GPA that could be assigned to the incredible importance of that experience in a student's life. So for the work you do for our youth, and for the work you do making sure residents of the Bronx's voices are heard, Bronxnet, I thank you, Michael Max, Chair Gentile, everyone on the board, and everyone who plays a part in Bronxnet, in its success, and for helping the people of the Bronx.
Thank you, Councilmember Dinowitz. And at Bronxnet, we showcase and spotlight student achievement, student work, including what we're about to see, a public service announcement written and developed by Lehman College student Brianna Peralta. Let's take a look.
Only 57% of New York City high school students are college ready by their senior year. "55% of high school graduates either have no plans to attend college or are uncertain that they will ever attend. "34% of young adults don't go to college because they can't afford it. Discover what's possible. Bronxnet's education programs, internships, and opportunities help engage and inspire Bronx youth and beyond to pursue their passions. We are proud to provide them with the tools they need to make their dreams come true. Join us in supporting the future of the younger generation. Donate to Bronxnet today.
Hey, thanks to the Bronxnet team that worked on that, along with Brianna. Hey, let's acknowledge Mike Wasner from the Alliance for Community Media, who flew out here to join us today. We've got Misha Ross Porter, the president and CEO of the Bronx Community Foundation. SBA Administrator Marlene Centrone is here. Rashawn Harris, Citizens, there you go. Bronx Council on the Arts is in the house, as is the Bronx Center for Bronx Nonprofits, Eileen Newman. And we've got some college presidents here. Thomas Escanebgi of Bronx Community College, Daisy Coco Filippi, president of Ostos Community College, and President's brother, Dan Wagner of Manhattan College is here today, as well as Michael Ferraro, the Executive Director of the Innovation Lab at FIT, Fashion Institute Technologies, and Fidel Milena, representing Governor Hochul here in the Bronx, is in the house at Bronxnet. Bronx Walk of Famer, the People's Choice Bronx Walk of Famer, El Principal, Luis Torres is here. Thank you for your partnership. And the BOEDC President, Robert Walsh. Always great to see Zuma Arzu Brown in the Bronx Tourism Council. And we have a great group of folks that have assembled to celebrate with us. And we're in the South Bronx. And representing the people of the South Bronx, a fighter for the people of the South Bronx, representing New York City Assembly District 84. She's a lifelong Bronx resident and a co-sponsor of a very important bill right now in Albany, the Community Media Reinvestment Act, which provides support to protect local media and community journalism. Please welcome Assemblymember Amanda Septimo.
I'm going to be brief because I know we want to continue with the celebrations, and so many incredible things have already been said. But I think one of the things that's most special about Bronxnet and that makes this opening today so special is that Bronxnet is a place of ideas. It's a place where students can come and have an outlet for creativity. They have an opportunity to turn those ideas into careers, which is a really unique intersection of opportunities that doesn't always happen in our borough. It's also a space that is committed to empowering our community and sharing ideas widely, making sure that our residents are informed and always keeping top of mind how to make our community better. And it is also a place that is focused on ideas on how to move our borough forward. Bronxnet's commitment to the work over at Lehman College throughout the years speaks to that set of ideals, but this center is really the physical embodiment of what it means to be committed to the idea that the Bronx is a place of promise and that the Bronx has a future that is brighter than anything that any of us could imagine. And this physical space represents that commitment, and that's something that I'm so proud of and feel so lucky that it's here in our district. And I will say that there is also something very special about seeing a building and a space that is as beautiful as this go up and know that every part of it is dedicated to serving Bronxites. Because we know that we're living in a changing city with a changing landscape that doesn't always feel like it's designed with us in mind. And this is a building that completely turns that on its head. As a Bronxite, you can walk by, you can walk in, and at every point you will be reminded that this place is for people of the Bronx. This place serves people of the Bronx. This place is invested in the future of people of the Bronx. And as a Bronx native, that is something that is really special to me and something that I'm incredibly grateful for. So I want to congratulate everyone who played any role in bringing this to life, and to everyone who is here to celebrate, because this victory belongs not only to Bronxnet, but we're also lucky that they're sharing it with us. So thank you all and congratulations, and I can't wait to be on many more episodes of Bronx Talk with Gary. Thanks.
And Javier Gomez, the host of Dialogo Abierto on Bronxnet, is also in the room. So representing this Senate District 28, a lifelong Bronx resident and ambassador for the arts, as chair of the Committee on Cultural Affairs, please welcome State Senator Jose Marcos Serrano.
Thank you very much, Michael Max. It is such a pleasure and an honor to be with you and with all of my colleagues here today on such a really wonderful special occasion. And I'd like to congratulate all involved for making this happen, in particular our borough president and all of the board members and everyone who understands how intrinsically important Bronxnet is to the Bronx. It really represents everything that is wonderful about the Bronx. And being born and raised in this community and old enough to remember the 1970s and what this neighborhood right outside this window looked like. Through redlining, through all of the different systemic things in place that actually destroyed so much of our neighborhood. The people and the will and the desire for a better society was not destroyed. And I'm so grateful that here in the Bronx, as we have rebuilt, we have places like this that understand the cultural importance of our community, that are very much in line with the hopes and dreams and the vision and the history of this community. So here I stand in a really wonderful space and very aware of what cable access, community access, in particular Bronxnet, means to the world of information. So many times we get bombarded with information that doesn't really serve to uplift. Growing up, and even today, I get so upset when I hear so many of the unfortunate myths that people perpetuate about the Bronx. All of us in this room, I'm preaching to the choir, we all know better. We all know how beautiful and amazing this place is. But Bronxnet provides that vehicle for discussion, for real interest in the arts. As chair of the Committee on Cultural Affairs and Arts, I believe wholeheartedly that the arts and culture provide that unique vehicle for discussions on social justice, social change. How do we overcome a lot of the inequalities in our society today? Indeed, long before politicians became activists on the issues of equality, it was the artists who oftentimes were speaking toward their own detriment about the hypocrisies in society. But to the point that Bronxnet provides a vehicle for all voices is something that is very, very important. And oftentimes issues that don't really get an opportunity in regular media. I remember years ago being on a program in Bronxnet, and I was talking about the real risk that predatory equity was having on affordable housing here in the South Bronx. And I can't think of any other forum in which I would have had the opportunity to talk about something that very existential to our community. So again, I'm just very grateful to Bronxnet, to Michael, to the board for this wonderful labor of love. I know it's going to provide a great opportunity for future young students to learn about the media, to be involved in it. And these are wonderful careers. Being chair of the Committee on Arts and Culture, careers in the arts, I think, are just wonderful. And thank you for fostering that. Congratulations. Thank you.
And now representing Senate District 82, the chair of the Committee on Cities and a co-sponsor of the Community Media Reinvestment Act, advocating for fair housing, crime reduction, and much more. Please welcome State Senator Louis Sepulveda.
I guess Michael just gave me a promotion because I actually represent the 32nd Senate District. I think the 82nd somewhere up in near the Niagara Falls or something. It's really a pleasure. When this project started, I represented this area, and now that it's completion, my great colleague Senator Serrano now represents this area. We have some great people in the Bronx, and what you hear about the Bronx, it's changing. People are more willing to say and talk about the beauty of what the Bronx is rather than this negative stuff that we hear over the years. We have some great leaders here in this county. We have Assemblywoman Chantel Jackson, Assemblywoman Amanda Septimo, Senator Serrano, and of course Vanessa, who she and I compete about who goes out more often into the neighborhood. She wins, but I'm trying to catch up with her. And Bronxnet has been an integral part of this community for many, many years. I remember the first time that I ran for office, the first program I ever appeared on was Gary Axelbank's Bronxnet. Both Gary and I had more hair back then. This was 1992. And I believe after Ruben Diaz Sr., unless the borough president's kept caught up with me, I have the most appearances on Bronxnet. And that's because it's a place where people can learn about those individuals that represent them. It's a place where people can learn about policy. There's such a diverse number of programs, both multilingual programs, that it's such a big asset to the people of the Bronx. Now, this center here is a lifelong dream. We need our children to be immersed in cultural activities. We need our children to learn about media. We need our children to say, this is a possible career for me as I get older. So what this space does is create that impression, that environment for people to know that, hey, man, maybe one of our children can be the head of Bronxnet or take over Gary Axelbank's show when he's ready to retire. Although I think Gary will be there for the next 30 years. But I am truly honored. I am a producer. At least I certified as a producer of Bronxnet many years ago. I did the program. And it's an incredible thing that many things that I learned about media and producing shows, and to see a space like this where our young children in the future can do the same thing, thrills me to no end. And I'm so happy to be here, and I want to congratulate everyone who put this together. I want to congratulate the borough president and all the board members and all my colleagues in government for really getting together and making sure that this project goes to fruition. And it is a dream for many of us to come true. So thank you very much. God bless you all.
Thank you, State Senator Sepulveda. And representing the 79th Assembly District, she has been a leader in promoting legislation against gun violence and a champion for education and aspiration for constituents as the chair of microbusiness in our assembly. Please welcome Assembly Member Chantel Jackson.
I'm actually going to hire you. You do well in introducing us. I also had my very first time on TV when I was running for the Assembly District on Gary's show. So, Gary, I know I don't meet the borough president in her 20. I may be on two, maybe three of appearing on Bronxnet. Thank you all for being here today. Thank you, Michael. Michael and I run into each other in the Albany halls because he's a true advocate for public television and for Bronxnet. So thank you. And to the board, of course, thank you all for this work. We could not do any of this without you all. But I know the Bronx Borough President is up to number 23. I'm maybe on 2. But raise your hand if you've been on any type of show on Bronxnet. Raise your hand. Exactly. So if you take a look around, Bronxnet is about being local politics, local people having a say in what's happening in our neighborhoods. My older constituents, usually the older ones, they're really excited that they saw me on TV, either in home or they may be in a restaurant and they were playing. They were like, oh, there goes Chantel. And they're really excited. Sometimes they know what I was talking about. Sometimes they don't. But they're just excited to know that the person that's representing them is there and they can see them and visualize seeing their representative on TV. Before this, I was a social worker for a school that taught behind the scenes to television and film. So it feels really good to be in this space, to know that young people are running these spaces. Everyone wanted to be either the director or on camera. But I just want you all to know that there's a lot more to putting this programming together with lighting, because you have to create lighting that sets a certain mood. You have to do a certain amount of sound to make it sound a certain way. So all of these things are absolutely necessary. I say thank you to all the stage hands and everyone who put this all together, the setup and the breakdown, because you all make the show. We just show up, say some things, hopefully we said something right, and we leave. But everyone who came in before to do the editing, to make sure the lighting is here and the sound is working, I say thank you to you all, and I'm excited because young people get to see us on TV, but they also get to know how they create TV. So thank you.
Thank you, Assemblymember Jackson. And he is a fighter for immigrant families, for quality of life and affordable housing, representing Assembly District 79. 78? Oh, 78. Please welcome Assemblymember George Alvarez.
Chantel, please, no, I won't promise, I promise. Well, so good morning, everyone. And my name is George Alvarez, represent part of the Northwest in the Bronx, and a brand new person, though, in the Assembly. And I wish to have Michael Boyce and the way that he introduced people, yeah, this is Assembly Member Alvarez and stuff like that. I wish to have that, but I don't have that though, right? But this is the great about the Bronx. It's the diversity that we have here. We take the strength of every single culture and make sure that we work together to improve the Bronx, right? So I have to confess this. I'm not a little TV watcher person, right? But then I ran into Michael in Albany, and he mentioned to me Bronxnet. I know about Bronxnet, but I didn't read about Bronxnet. I didn't learn about Bronxnet until Michael ran into me. And I felt so motivated of the work that Bronxnet is doing, right? That I say, you know what? I'm going to learn. I'm going to look at it. I'm going to read it. I'm going to support that. And the only reason why I say that is we need to make sure that we show our youth out there that there is another life off the street, right? We have to teach our youth out there that their way that they can learn how to manipulate TV equipment rather than manipulate guns out there, right? We have to let them know that there is success out of being a gang member. And that's why I feel so motivated to not just learn about Bronxnet, but support Bronxnet. So thank you very much for having me here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Assemblymember Alvarez, for your support and work. And representing the 31st State Senate District, he is a champion for workers' rights and education and health and fitness. He's a role model for health and fitness. Please welcome State Senator Robert Jackson.
Good afternoon, everyone. Buenas tardes a todos. My name is Robert Jackson. I represent the 31st Senatorial District, which includes 1/3 of my district is now in the Bronx as a result of lines being redrawn. So part of Morris Heights, University Heights, Kingsbridge Heights, and parts of Riverdale, of course, a little bit of Fordham Road, about 125,000 constituents. And my constituency has risen to about 67% where their primary language is Spanish. So I'm glad to be a part of the Bronx. All of my family and extended family live in the Bronx. I grew up part of my years in the Bronx. So I'm thankful to be here today at this ribbon cutting ceremony. The first time I was on Bronxnet was about a week ago with the assembly member. But I had an opportunity to tour the facility, the whole setup, and I'm very, very pleased. And I said to myself when I saw that check of $574,000 come up here, that Jose and us, others, we have to make sure that Bronxnet has the resources along being provided with the leadership of the board in order to ensure the type of vision that you have put out, President, that happens here, right here in the South Bronx and La Central. With that, I say congratulations, everyone, and thank you for inviting me.
So just before our ribbon cutting, we are going to give you something special. You're going to walk home with a little bit of what's happening here today. We're going to drop our first NFT. Does anybody know what an NFT is? What is that? Yeah, digital token, a non-fungible token that you are going to walk out of here with. And it is created by a Creatives Rebuild New York artist at Bronxnet, Trish Giannakis, who's here. And she's going to show you in our innovation lab how to download this historic token. Should we take a look at this NFT drop? Integrated into that beautiful NFT, some artwork by another artist, Shiro One, who's here. Street artist Shiro One is in the building, and that Statue of Liberty with the camera was created with Shiro and Bronxnet. And we are going to celebrate our creative borough, our creative people. You know, people born in the Bronx, people born in the South Bronx. Grandmaster Melly Mel is here, pioneer of hip hop, a hero for the people. Thank you for hosting Grandmaster Fitness on Bronxnet and being an exemplar. We have Creatives Rebuild New York artists Rockefeller and Quickstep who are doing Quick to Rock on Bronxnet. We've got Will Roberts, who's doing an interactive sports tournament at Bronxnet as a Creatives Rebuild New York artist, as well as working with youth on game design. And we have also puppeteers doing a children's puppet show. These are puppeteers from the Bronx that are doing eco-leaders on the Bronx. It's Alba Garcia, Paola Porcel, and Kerwin. Kerwin are here, and you can talk with them. Producing hashtag Stressed on Bronxnet, a dramatic series that you're going to want to binge watch. It's Kobena DeGraff Johnson and Jasmine White. Filmmakers are here as part of this artistic cohort. So it's a creative borough, and we have a lot of great work to do together. Are we ready to cut this ribbon? All right, let's do this. Let's cut the ribbon for the Bronxnet Media and Technology Studios at La Centrale in the South Bronx.
The Bronx, 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 the
Bronx. Here to take you on a journey, tell you where I'm from. Yeah, the South Bronx like KRS-One. Send my prayers out to Pay. I'ma see my purple, she the mother of hip-hop. Give birth to the devils where the hustlers move. Got the little street blues, hear the flames attract you. When they hide the fumes, you pop bottles and get silly and make it rain on them. When I wanna get my gear up, I hit up for them. They hit the club till 3 in the morning. Best watch your back, gunshots be popping. Hear the blocks keep that green like botanical garden. It's a jungle out here, baby, this the Bronx zoo. Every day there's a war between them Crips and Diamond. When them boys in blue, they always on the prowl. In my town, leaders are born like Carlin Powell. We a legend, home of the Yankees, we do the damn thing. I planted my seed in the Bronx, I built a family tree. Up in the Bronx, where the people are fresh. And we ain't gonna stop, gonna do this to the death. Hip-hop started where we live. Pop shit up in the Bronx, and you might not live. Up in the Bronx, where the people are fresh. And we ain't gonna stop, gonna do this to the death. Hip-hop started where we live. Pop shit up in the Bronx, and you might not live. This is city of guys, watch for the burglars and murderers, etc. I'm telling ya, this another Bronx tale. I'm a dawn like Sonny from Book Ave to Bronxdale. Watch when I'm driving, cause there's potholes everywhere. Busting off shots, bodies dropping, cops they don't care. The Fox 5 News ain't coming over here. When the weather get hot, we bring the wolfers out and throw block parties, drink till we falling out. We be on Castle Hill, hollering at J-Lo's. And we never get tired of them chicken wings and egg rolls. It's like every block got a Chinese spot. And them Bin Laden boys got the stores on lock.